Hi again. So let's see how we get on. This is Woman of the Week, part one, take two. A little clipboard thing, don't I? So Zoe, hopefully you can. Yay, Zoe's joined the conversation. Now, can she come on live? Let's see if she can do that. Yes. View request. Go live with Hudson. I feel like a drum roll. Should be happening now. Let's see if she can join me. Waiting.
Hello.
I think we're both having some internet. Oh, hey!
Now look,
Hello.
I have a little tripod, but it can only have my phone sideways, which means that one of us is the wrong way. So I'm just going to have to hold my phone like this because obviously, you know what? I don't know if it's your internet or if it's just, I don't know if it's a Manchester thing because our internet has literally just crashed as well. So I don't know if there's a problem in Manchester today.
I don't know. It was dodgy all day yesterday, and I was hoping it was going to be better today, but it's not giving me much joy. So, I mean, if we crash out again, we'll just have to restart again, and there'll just be about 5 videos posted with the conversation on. So we'll see.
Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We'll just see how we get on.
I'm running on 3G, and I've just got rid of the Wi-Fi. My husband was like, "Zoe, I think the Wi-Fi's gone down." I was like, "Oh, great, just right on."
Right, okay.
But we're good. We're on 3G. Crossed. God loves
fingers
3G.
Crossed. Yeah. So I don't know if you managed to listen to my kind of little introductory post. I was just telling people kind of why I'd started this and a bit of background to it. And then I kind of was about to introduce you and I thought, no, I'll let you do that yourself. So I'll just say we've only met each other in the last kind of few months, really. We've had kind of lockdown WhatsApp chats and things, which has been lovely. And I've just been really impressed by well, all the different experiences that you've had, and also the way that you kind of approach the challenges that you seem to have had. You also seem so positive and practical, and I just thought it might be helpful to share maybe some of that with some of the I was going to say listeners, viewers, whoever else is watching or wants to watch. Followers.
You need to get a name for them like Lady Gaga has for her tribe. I don't know what it would be.
I suppose just to start off with, just tell others a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, so we haven't actually physically met. We're gonna rectify that, aren't we, in the next couple of weeks? But yeah, so I'm a nurse like you, Amy. I'm an advanced nurse practitioner. I work at a GP in currently on leave. Got an 8-week-old baby called Margot, who's amazing, who's currently.
I'm sure we'd all be very happy to meet her if she does, bless her.
They kind of never stopped me doing anything. Like they made me believe I could do anything I wanted. And I think that has a massive impact when you get to adult life, that you have the confidence to try stuff, knowing full well that if it ends tits up, someone's got your back. And I think that's quite a powerful position to be in, because I've met other people that don't have that really. And so the things that have happened to me are I was diagnosed with cervical cancer in 2013, completely out of the blue. I'd only been married 14 months. We were trying for children kind of half-heartedly. And I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Had been a nurse at the Christie Hospital in Manchester, which is our regional cancer hospital anyway. So I ended up back there as a patient. So in some ways that was quite nice, is probably not the right word, but it was comforting because I knew the hospital, I knew everyone, I knew the staff there, I knew what to expect, I knew the drill. I'd been there as a member of staff myself, and I think that really helped me. Because Matthew was completely.
You're not worried that someone you knew might be looking at your bits?
Looking at me bits. Do you know what?
I think I just an appointment and like some doctor you'd worked in would be like peering under there. No, I suppose not. Keep dropping out. Sorry. Just say that bit again because you're really glitchy. Zoe, I can't hear you.
Your internet. Let me see if I can go to another room. Let me go near this window. I don't know the wonders of technology. And my husband's still trying to fix the internet. Can you hear me a bit better in here?
No, it's really glitchy. It's struggling. See how we get on, yeah?
Can you hear me a bit better in
give
here?
it a go. See how we get on.
Is this better?
I can hear you. It's just a big time lag between like you speaking and yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we get on. So you were saying, just to recap, obviously you got diagnosed. How old were you when you got diagnosed, Zoe?
35, I think. 35. Yeah, something like that. 35.
Yeah.
And
you just married and trying for children, and back at the hospital you'd worked at, having treatment and everything. And
yeah,
that must have been a really tough time.
Well, it's pretty much you don't expect it, and whatever you thought was going to be this conventional married life turns out to not be the conventional married life that you were thinking you were going to have. And so anyway, I did my treatment and it was all cool. And I think what really helped with that was look, the sun's out in Manchester. Wow. What really helped with that is that it was really organized. Like, we got given a plan. And I think once we had a plan, we knew what was each stage. So we had a date for all my radiotherapy. We had a date for all my chemo. It was so well organized. I had a date for my follow-up scans, my follow-up appointments. So we knew what was happening when. And I think that really helped me and Matthew sort of keep on track with everything and not feel so overwhelmed by everything. It was all in order. And then we had my treatment, and then we finished it. And then we were on holiday to Crete. Do you remember those days when you could travel? So we went on holiday to Crete, and I started with back pain, and I was like, oh, because of course I know too much. And I was like, oh, this will be like, my cancer again. And they were like, no. Anyway, I went back, had my 3-month review, and they told me it spread. And they basically told me I was palliative. And I was like, don't be ridiculous. That's just not going to happen. So, and of course, Matthew had no concept of what the word palliative meant. So anyway, so I just said,
would you like to explain that for other people, Zoe? Would you just like to explain that to people?
So palliative is suggestive that there is no sort of cure, and what is the definition of palliative, Amy? You probably know better than I do what the definition is. It
well, yeah, like you say, it is suggestive that there's not much, they can kind of treat and control it, but you're never going to get rid of it.
Yeah, there's no
active life, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no active sort of, they'll actively treat the sort of symptoms and side effects, but not the actual disease, I think.
Yeah,
is probably what, I could be doing a real injustice to the word palliative, but anyway. So
there's lots more to it than that, but it kind of takes us off topic, doesn't it? So we'll try and keep it on topic with your story.
Yeah.
But basically, you're facing a potential end of life diagnosis at that point.
Yes, completely. And I remember she wrote my blood form metastatic CA, and I remember thinking, oh my God, like when I was a nurse, and I used to write that on other patients' forms. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so I just got so they gave me some chemo, and miracle of miracle, I had a complete response to it, and I've been well ever since. And I totally know how lucky I've been. But because of all my treatment, it made me infertile, and of course we were trying for children at the time, so I couldn't have children, I couldn't carry children. So we looked up surrogacy. We did an accelerated course of IVF prior to my treatment starting, much against the advice of some of the doctors at the Christie, I might add. They were very much about just treating my cancer actively, and I was like, no. Like I was over.
So what did we call you the other day? Was it a positive disruptor or something? What was the name we came up with you for the other day? Was it a positive disruptor? Something like that. Yeah.
said, no, I want to delay and I want to go through IVF. They weren't very, I mean, what could they do? They couldn't force me to start treatment any earlier. So anyway, so we did that. And then we, after I got better, we started down the surrogacy route. And to cut an exceptionally long story short, it took us 9 years, and we finally have a little baby called Margot, who we've had through surrogacy.
So are you going a bit glitchy again now, Zoe? So I'm just going to interrupt you here. Sorry, it's not coming through. So I'm just going to kind of interrupt you here just while you. Zoe, we can't hear you, my love. The technology issues are not on our side this morning, I have to say, which is a shame because I'm, your story is definitely worth listening to, but it's not working very well. This the Wi-Fi and the internet. So I don't know if you can do anything your end at all. You're stuck and you're going round and round and round. I don't know. I try and do something the first time ever. And it's just fraught with technological Wi-Fi, internet issues. Maybe the universe is trying to tell me something. I don't know. But let's see if Zoe can come back on. If not, we'll hop off and maybe try again. Oh, she's disappeared. So, I mean, what a story that she's just shared with us about how she has been through, well, really, been through something that is the stuff of nightmares, isn't it, really? And here she is again. Let's see if we can get her back on. And come through that, and now eventually have her baby, be holding her baby in her arms. Absolutely amazing. What a lovely, lovely kind of happy ending, if you like. Hi, Zoe. Let's see how we go again.
Can you hear me? I know I'm very aware that you have a client at 9:30, and we're like galloping through this. I mean, it's up to you. I'm more than happy to come back.
I pushed her back to 9:45, so we've got a little bit of time. We'll see how we go. If it doesn't work out, we'll have to try again another time because it's really glitchy. I was just kind of, while you were hopped off, I was just saying, really, you've been through something that is the stuff of nightmares for many people. Receiving that diagnosis, receiving essentially a palliative diagnosis, then desperately wanting a baby and trying for all those years and spending thousands of pounds and all that kind of the ups and downs. I mean, I've been through a little bit in terms of wanting a baby and struggling to get pregnant and having miscarriages and those kind of things. So I can understand the roller coaster of the hopes and then the failed pregnancies and the grief and the hope and the grief. And it's really tough, isn't it? It's really tough. And, you've had to go through that for 9 years to get to where you are now. And now you've got baby Margot. So it's beautiful. It's a lovely, happy ending to the story. And I don't know if you can hear me or not. And if not, I think what I will do for this session is probably just call it a day because we're struggling so much. And maybe we'll finish this off another time because I've got some kind of other things that I'd like to ask you about. So if you're there, I suppose we could just move on to thinking about, what was it during that time, during all those times? What were the things that really kept you going and really gave you hope? And she's just hopped off again. So let's see if she comes back on. And if not, we will wrap it up and do this another time, get her back on another time when the internet is better. Are you there, Zoe? Oh, she's struggling, obviously, which is a shame because it's such story to share, and also, you know, there's other things that I wanted to ask her from that story. So just going to hang on a minute and see how it is if she comes back on. Yeah, see if she's coming back on. I'm waiting for. Hi again.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Let's see how we go.
Right.
So all I was saying then,
Internet's
Zoe,
been restored.
What all I was saying then, so I was just kind of just recapping some of your story, and also just sharing that, you know, that ups and downs of the hopes and dreams for a baby, and they're getting pregnant and then the pregnancy failing. You know, I've experienced some of that myself. You know, we've had struggles getting pregnant and had miscarriages and failed pregnancies, so I can understand the kind of how you go from feeling up here and also anxious and worried about whether it's going to work, to down here when it doesn't, and that this kind of roller coaster really of emotion, and now what a wonderful thing that you've got this happy ending, well, not an ending, but you know, as part of your journey, you're going through this lovely phase where you've now got baby Margot through all of that and after all of that. And I just wondered, what was it that really kind of kept you going through all of those situations, from your diagnosis to being told you're palliative, to the ups and downs of, you know, having pregnancies and losing babies and all of those emotions that come with that. That's a real roller coaster ride. And what is it that's kind of kept you hopeful, kept you strong, kept you going, even in your kind of darkest of days?
Well, I think there's two different things there. So the cancer diagnosis and being told you're palliative was one bit. That was like, and it's weird. Like I never really got. Everyone goes, "Oh, you're so brave. You're so courageous." Like I don't think I was brave or courageous at all. I think the courageous, brave people are the people that decline treatment, knowing full well what the outcome's going to be. Like I don't think I was brave or courageous. I did what I had to do, and I'm a medic at heart, so I just knew that it was a process. And what I didn't do was I never ever asked about my prognosis, and I never ever Googled I never Googled like prognosis or life expectancy. I never Googled it because, you know, there is unconscious bias when you go on to Google. And I tell my patients this all the time. They come into work and they say, "Oh, I'll Google this." I was like, do not Google, because you've got an unconscious bias. And even if you think you're not actually looking for negative things, if you've got a thought in your head, you will control the search on Google, whether you believe it or not. And so I never, ever Googled anything about prognosis, life expectancy. What I did do is I joined some online forums, and I know there's like pros and cons to those things, and you have to not become all consumed by them. But I joined online forums, I did a bit of research, and I always had like a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. Like if this didn't work, what was I going to do next? I was looking at treatments abroad that maybe we couldn't access on the NHS. I was, you know, I always had like a backup plan, which I think gave me some hope. And also like just reading other people's experiences and outcomes, I think, and hopeful ones. You know, don't read the depressing negative ones, because that's not going to help you in any way whatsoever. So I was very pragmatic about the fact that this is just a process. I'm unwell. They're going to give me some treatment. I'm going to be better. And I never ever thought I wouldn't get better. Weirdly, sounds quite arrogant, I guess, but I don't know. I just knew. I was fit and healthy as well, which I think really helped.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you had those thoughts and you had that approach, and you wouldn't read anything negative, and you wouldn't look. You just had that. I'm going to get better. I'm going to plan it. I'm going to plan option A, B, C. I'm going to engage with kind of positive discussion around it, and you defied the odds.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit bonkers.
Yeah,
but and then the other thing was, for me, like I could go to appointments and get given bad news. That didn't really bother me. What bothered me was having to tell my family. Like that was the hardest thing for me, because I didn't want them to worry. I didn't want them to be upset. Like it would have devastated my parents if I'd have, you know, died before them. I mean, it just didn't bear thinking about. And so for me, like I had to beat it. Like I couldn't, you know, and they were just like beside themselves. But so for me, like I didn't worry. Like if I die, like I'm oblivious, right? Because I'm dead. I don't know what's going on. But I worried about the people I was going to leave behind. That to me was what I worried about. So I think, you know, when people have been in these situations before, like Matthew and I obviously shared pretty much everything with each other. Although at times he said to me, like, are you feeling okay? Like, if you've got a pain, you know, when after you've sort of been given the all clear, as it were, he'd be like, because he said to me, I know you wouldn't tell me if you're worried about something. So I think some things I kept, you know, if things didn't need to be mentioned until I'd sorted out in my own head, then I wouldn't mention it. If I had a worry about a symptom, I'd go and get it sorted out first before I told him about it. Because what's the point worrying somebody if they don't need to worry about something? And likewise, when we got diagnosed, it was really interesting because I got diagnosed and we had to wait a week for my scan results to see what stage I was at. And in that week, I never phoned my mum or messaged my mum because I thought we literally just sat at home doing jigsaws, watching Miranda, and doing. They said do positive things. I was like, okay. So we watched the Olympics, but then it just made me depressed that when I was at the Olympics, I wasn't ill, and now I was ill anyway. So that didn't really work. But we found something that worked, and I didn't speak to my mum for a whole week, and she knew that something was wrong because that's very unlike me. That's not my routine. But I thought I'm not going to tell them anything until we know where we're at. Because what is the point of worrying them about something that they can't control? We don't know what the outcome is. Let's just wait. And so we didn't go to them until we had like a better idea what was happening and what a plan was, which, you know, hopefully that helped them. So I told them pretty much most things. But, you know, a lot of it, they couldn't really, you know, you can't control things, can you? So you just have to trust the process, I guess. So that's the first thing. So that was the whole cancer issue. And then the surrogacy thing, I mean, I'm a self-confessed control freak. And so when you go through surrogacy, you know, you have to surrender that control to somebody else. You are handing over that entire process to another woman. And, you know, so when the pregnancies don't work and the transfers don't work, like I'm a problem solver and I can't solve that problem because it's not me. They're not transferring them into me. There's nothing I can do that's going to make it better. So I guess like I don't know. I think the way I deal with things is I just go in there with I'm very open-minded about pretty much everything, and you do have to only worry about the things you can control. Like you can't control these things, so you just have to. And again, I joined an organisation called Surrogacy UK, full of success stories. So you just cling to the hopeful success stories and know that, you know. And if you go to, you know, if you look at statistics, like going back to the diagnosis and prognosis, I never ever looked at statistics. However, if someone said, you know, like 89% of people died within 3 years of a palliative diagnosis, whatever, well, what happened to the other like 19%? Why can I not be the other 19%? I always was the positive, like I never did the negative.
Which is great, isn't it? Because our brains are automatically wired to look for that negative, like you said, and think that that's going to be us. And so it's a really kind of, you know, to shift into that mindset is something powerful, actually. And also that recognition of, well, I'm going to control what I can control, which is my mind and my approach and the things I need to support me to stay positive. But I've just got to let go of the other shit because I can't. There's nothing I can do about that.
It's exhausting. Like I come into me at work and they are exhausted, worrying about stuff that's going on at work, worrying about nightmares in their family. And it's like, look, and I say to them, you cannot. One thing you cannot control is other people's behaviours and actions. And so once you've decided that, like honestly, your life is so much better. You can't control what other people do. So yeah. And that's
it's a great book actually by a lady called Katie Byron called Loving What Is, and it really is to the kind of nth degree about just accepting things for what they are and not using or wasting your energy fighting about stuff that you've kind of made this truth or belief in your head that it should be this way, but it's not, and then you kind of fight against it, but it's only in your head that you've made it this way, so you fight against yourself, really. It's an interesting, she's got a whole kind of approach to trying to kind of shift some of these ways of behavior that we have. I think she calls it the work. So it's quite an interesting read if you're into finding out more about that. I'm just aware of time, Zoe. We've kind of got about 5 minutes left.
Oh yeah, go on then.
Client at 9:45. So I just love that you've been so positive. You found what works for you. You've tried to kind of, you know, just look at what you can do, being practical, planned things, you know, taken what you need to get you through these times. If you could look back now and give yourself a message, you know, 10 years on, what would you tell your younger self?
I don't think I've changed that much actually since I was younger. I've always been very positive. I've always been very open-minded. But what this did do is, so slightly not answering your question, I sound like a politician. But
Right.
but what it did do was it made me. I mean, I've always been making the most of life anyway, and just doing crazy risk-taking behaviour. But it really made me become less tolerant of accepting shit that didn't serve me. So like I went back to work, I was feeling really burnt out beforehand. I was feeling even more burnt out when I went back. Nothing had changed. The usual, you know, unvalued member of staff. And I just thought, screw this. I'm not like, my life doesn't need to be like this. I've been given a second chance. And actually what this diagnosis did for me was and because you know, if everything had gone smooth sailing, we would have got married, had 2 kids, I'd have been running around like a headless chicken, trying to manage 2 children, hold down a part-time job, and I would have just been frazzled. And I never wanted that, which is why I think I was never overly keen on having children, because I didn't want to be a frazzled mum. And I just thought, oh, I don't want that, which is why I put off having children for so long. But what this did do for me actually was it made me just think, you know, screw that, I'm not going to put up with it. And so I went part-time. I looked at other income streams, other options, more flexible working. I was unapologetically like selfish. I was like, I'm going to do what's good for me now. And I think as nurses, and you'll relate to this, there's this really big sense of duty, isn't there, and guilt. Like if you don't,
Yeah.
if you resign from your job and you're letting all your colleagues down.
Oh God, yeah. If you take a break, you're letting the team down. You know,
yeah.
how dare you?
I got to the point where I thought I just need to just go. And so, you know, you think you're irreplaceable, but you are very much replaceable. So don't ever worry about that. And I think it made that even more of a mission for me now. It was always a mission before, which I think I'd lost a little bit since I'd sort of become an adult and got into work and sort of shelved my dreams a bit. But since being ill, it was really a gift, because, you know, if I hadn't have been ill, I wouldn't have been watching property programs. I wouldn't have got into property investment. I wouldn't have started my own business. I wouldn't have done any of the things that I do now. So actually, I saw it as a really positive that I was off ill for a year.
Yeah, and that's great that you say that, because actually one of my next questions was, you know, what are you grateful for now that this experience has given you? And it's that, isn't it? It's that opportunity to be kind of more unapologetically me, go after what I want. I've learned about property, I've got my own business, I've got these other income streams, and you've kind of almost created and crafted a life that works for you and suits you. So fantastic, you know, and that's what a lot of people want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it definitely made me just I mean, I've always been like just live life to the full, but it made me live life even more to the full. And I think we definitely lose that in our day-to-day life, don't we, of getting up, going to work, running to the shops, looking after the kids. And I was very much like, no, this has got to stop. So bit of self-love.
Yeah, definitely we could all do with a bit more of that, unless you're a narcissist, of course.
Yes, of course. Oh, there's one at the door now.
So we're kind of running out of time, so I just want to give you the opportunity in the last couple of minutes just to tell people, you know, if you've got any kind of with your businesses, is there anything you want to share with people? Where can they find people? Want a bit more Zoe Starmer Hudson? Where do they find you? What are you offering? What can you bring to their lives?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram too, which I'll be tagged into. So I think you're going to download this, aren't you, or whatever?
Yeah.
And so so I'm on Instagram too. But I just love. I definitely love helping burnout medics sort of realise, as you do too, but we have a different slant. But I love letting people know that you don't have to be in a status quo. Like, I can't stand status quo. There is another way of working, and there's another way of getting, you know, getting your life to be more of a balance. And I'm really passionate about that. And if it's, you know, helping people have a sideline business, then so be it, which is what I do. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. I love health and wellness. I love holistic health. I'm really into nutrition. I learned a lot about nutrition when I was ill that really interested me. I think we don't use it enough in medicine. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook as well. Same name. I'm not very creative.
Same as me. I've gone through all these creative names for my business and my coaching business, and then just come up with Amy Sinicola, because it's me.
Exactly.
You know, it's who I am. That's what people are wanting or buying, and that's fine, isn't it? So, and finally, just to finish off, is there any question that you would like to ask me quickly? Any random question?
Oh, a random question. God, that's on the spot, Amy.
Oh, sorry, I didn't warn you about that one.
A random question. What are you most grateful for? Because we both, well, you left nursing and I'm almost on the brink of leaving nursing, but what are you most grateful for?
Do you know, I take gratitude in just the small things. So it might be as simple as, you know, the colour of the leaves on the trees. It might be just the fact that it's sunny today. I definitely take gratitude in my family, the people that I've got around me, the love that I've got around me, and the support I've got around me. And like you say, it can be easy to forget that there's so much out there to be really grateful for and to take notice of. I'm really mindful of just taking notice of everything and not being caught up in my own head. And when I went through my own kind of struggles with stress and burnout at work, one thing I found really helped was the walk to work and stopping kind of being wrapped up in my own problems and staring at the ground and feeling stressed before I even got there, and just looking up. And always I had my camera phone, trying to find something new on that same walk in and out of work every day, trying to find something new, a new perspective to take a picture of.
That's interesting.
Beauty. And I used to park in Moss Side, which, if you don't know Manchester, I mean, it's not the prettiest of places, but you know, you would see things, because you were looking, you would notice beauty in places that you wouldn't think as you drove through were beautiful. So you would just see things and catch things because you're looking for them. So beauty is all around you if you look for it. It's just,
I think that's called mindfulness, isn't it? Being in the moment.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not a big kind of Zen mindfulness practitioner, but I am very into kind of nature and noticing what's around us and trying to kind of get out of the whirligig in our heads, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And it just made such a difference in meaning I could show up for work and just kind of then get stressed when I was at work, rather than spending the half an hour before work getting stressed and already arriving kind of up here.
And just quickly go back as well.
Much more chilled out for the first hour.
I know you've got to go. But one thing I do now is I just avoid all media. Like, I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to these bloody phone-in shows where everyone has an opinion. I just don't listen to any of that stuff. Like, you know, people that start the day listening to a ranty radio show, think like, your day is only going to go one way. Like, I always start the day on a positive. Like, you know, there's so many different ways to start the day, but it makes a massive difference. And that walk to work.
Well, there's research that shows the more you watch the news, the more depressed you are. So my husband does that. He has the BBC News app, and he'll send him alerts every time something awful's gone on, and he watches Question Time and shouts at the telly like, "Why do you do that?" Like,
I know, I stopped it.
Makes your life more stressful and miserable.
It doesn't serve you. You can't do anything about it. So
no, exactly.
Let go of it. Anyway, I'll let you go, Amy. Sorry about my
No, but it's been lovely to chat to you. Thank you so much for being so open and sharing your story and the lessons that you've learned, and I hope that that's helpful to anyone else watching who might be going through a tough time at the moment, that hopefully you've drawn some inspiration and support through Zoe's experiences and our little chat here this morning, because that's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to know about surrogacy,
much for being my first guest. I'm so pleased we managed to resolve the glitchy internet issues in the end. And I look forward to catching you up with you later
on the 20th.
On the 20th. Yeah.
To go for a
All
drink.
Right. Take care. Thanks for watching, anybody who is or is going to.
All the 20 videos.
Yeah. All right. Bye for now.
See you later. Bye. Bye.